Hey, what is going on, everybody? Happy Wednesday. Welcome back to the live stream. As you guys already know, we have FOMC coming up very, very soon. We're going to get into that in just a minute. Nick is going to be breaking down some charts beforehand. We're going to watch the news event live. But before we get into that, I want to talk about some things that we had happening today. So I'm going to go ahead and show you guys the market heat map in the Edge Finder really, really quickly, just so that we can get a up-to-date look at all of our currency pairs right before the US news event happens. So we can see here, these are some of our US our major currency pairs right here. USDCAD down on the day, 1.27% so far. Aussie US is our biggest mover to the upside, 1.75% up on the day so far. Taking a look at all assets over here, we can see that we have some Aussie pairs. Aussie yen, CAD yen are some of our biggest movers to the upside so far today. Our indices are starting to make some upward moves so far today. I was taking a look at this earlier. They hadn't moved this much earlier in the day, but they're starting to make some moves closer to that news event. I also want to remind you guys that CHF's Swiss CPI numbers came out this morning. That was a miss, came out lower than expected at minus 0.2%. And we also had Jolt's job opening numbers come out today. That was better than expected. We have US and Canadian unemployment rate data coming out on Friday. So we're going to hop in with Nick here in just a second. But before we do, I also wanted to show you guys this. I saw this earlier while I was looking for some news event stuff. We have not Jerome Powell here. This is not Jerome Powell. He is doing some last updates on the chart before the FOMC decision. So yeah, we are about 13, 14 minutes away from that news event. So we're going to be joining in with Nick in just a second. I also saw this on Twitter. We have Zai Trades right here. FOMC in 55 minutes. This was about an hour ago, but he said he's using the Fed tracker right here. So that's awesome. If you guys are using the Edge Finder, feel free to show us on Twitter. You can tag us on Twitter down here at A1 Trading Company on Twitter. Go ahead and follow us. You can tag us in your pictures using the Edge Finder and stuff. We love to see that kind of stuff. But that is all for me. We're going to hop in with Nick in just a second. We will see you very soon.
Coming to you live from our studio in Atlanta, Georgia, this is the A1 Trading Daily Show. Whether markets are rising or falling, we're here to keep you up to date with the latest market news. Join us as we trade currencies, commodities, and indices live, Monday through Friday.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back. And it is time for FOMC. We've got this news coming out in just 12 minutes, guys. We're going to be taking a look at a couple charts. We're going to do a speed round, taking a look at some things, and then we're going to watch the reaction together. And I'll even let you watch my profit and loss as the news comes out. People tend to love to do that. So we're going to do it quickly, taking a look at the S&P 500, which I have my trade on. A little bit biased here. Going to show you what I'm in. I'm floating a winner on SPY. I'm long on the S&P 500, up about $1,600 as we go into the event. We'll see if we can hold on to that. It is a swing trade, so I'm not going to be closing the trade just because we have potential volatility. But the S&P 500, for those of you who are watching it, and whether you're trading NAS 100, US 30, SPX500, or some conglomerate of these assets, I wanted to take a look at them from a technical analysis standpoint very quickly. We're sort of oscillating between the highs and lows here on SPX 500. And as we near this, we do have to be cautious. A big thing today would be to see if we actually get something positive for the stock market that could potentially break us out. That would be the most interesting scenario. And in which case, I will be looking to trail my stop loss, which I have some entries down in this area. Stop loss would probably get trailed on today's volatility. If we can get something like that, if we give back, if we start pulling back here the other direction, of course, I may look to close out the trade for a smaller win, or perhaps even with a small loss, but we'll watch that one again in this range, looking to stay bullish until further notice. I would like to see if we can break through the highs today. That would be a possible breakout for the indices for those of you who are watching it. Next up, taking a look at gold here, and gold very strong going into the market news here today. The gold market continuing to trail higher, sitting at 1853 as we speak. And my opinion here, we're staying bullish on gold until further notice. Now, of course, granted, do not take that as me saying the spike is going to go higher, because I don't know what the spike is going to do. And I think if you're gambling on what this news event is going to do, it's a tough way to play it. You know, the move has already sort of happened. If you're in the trade here, if you're long gold and you're riding this one, my opinion is trailing stops is the way to approach this. I'm not looking to do anything up here. I think if you caught the move, if you're in buy trades and you're trailing stops, then more power to you. But there's nothing to do here right moments before the spike. At least that's not how we trade here on the stream. Of course, we will watch the reaction to the spike. It's always a fun one to see, but we'll see what happens. Here's your hourly view of the gold market. And again, if you're bullish on gold, you may get some volatility here that could perhaps offer some pullback plays. Here's some resistance that was now broken and potentially turning into support here as we come into the major news event. And if you're a bit more conservative, you may look for a deeper retracement. Back to the 4-hour chart for a moment. What we can do here is we could draw some fibs. And again, this is a bit higher time frame. This is more for your swing traders out there. But you're looking at a 50% retracement there that lines up with support. This could actually be a target zone, though it is a ways away. So not looking to take any trades here on gold. Like I said, if you're long, I personally, I'm looking at this, I'm saying, okay, this is an excellent one. If you're long, I'd be trailing stops. I'd be letting that runner go. But there's nothing to do up here. I'm not going to be shorting. I'm not going to be buying up in an overextended market, though I don't believe in trying to go against a move like this, right? Trying to short gold right now, you are jumping in front of a train right now, because gold is making nice moves to the upside and market structure looks very healthy for continuation plays. Any pullbacks, in my opinion, are more so buy opportunities according to the way that I trade. What do you guys want me to take a look at? Comment in the chat here with me. If you would like me to look at something prior to the news, I'll try and get to as many charts as I can. Quick look at the euro here as we get closer into the event. You can see it respected our level that we talked about on yesterday's live stream. We talked about this 61.8% retracement off of this move. So we had a big drop here on the opening of the month here, or opening of the year. Now pulled back to that 61.8, held it beautifully, and so far looking so good. Today's really going to have an impact, though, on where this euro dollar is going to continue next. If we start breaking through, you know, you might get opportunities to continue this overall downward trend. Could be a beautiful opportunity there if does in fact hold this 61.8% retracement that we're seeing here today. We mentioned the edge finder. Let's take a quick look and see what's going on. What's some bias here as we get closer into the event? Something to consider here is the watch list. The watch list showing us some things to consider being bullish, to consider being bearish on, of course, based on the bias that we have. So a couple assets that top the scale. We have pound USD on the sell side, AUD NZD on the sell side, GBP NZD on the sell side. Flip it around, we have German 30 and we have NZD CAD as possible strong buys going into today's action. Now, of course, this is not necessarily saying the spike is going to do one thing or the other. This is just a general bias that the edge finder has for us. And again, we took a quick look at this with James here. He took the pre-stream for us, took a look at some of the assets that we have on our watch list here today. Big movers on the German 30, the S&P 500 up today, NASDAQ also up, with the JP 225 falling behind here a little bit. US dollar crosses, for those of you who watch the dollar going into an event, we have AUD USD making a serious move higher prior to the event, and dollar yen closely behind at 1.15% up today. So pretty good little volatility there. Big jump on things like GJ here as well, and probably worth taking a quick glance at before we go into this news. Sure, it's not a US dollar cross, but this also does heavily react to risk sentiment globally. And so with FOMC right around the corner, there is likely some volatility here. So let's take a quick look at the pound yen. Now, again, we've completely changed directions here. So this downward structure that was going on, broken back to the other direction. And if you guys were here with me on my previous live stream, I thought we would get a bit more of a reaction here. What we called this the 50% retracement, I believe. Yeah, so the 50% retracement did not hold at all. 61.8% is struggling here today. So this may actually be a full-blown reversal on the pound yen. We're going to have to wait to see what the volatility brings us. If it brings positivity to the market, we will likely to see the pound yen continue to trail higher, as it is generally conceived as a risk on asset, if you will. Tends to rise with the stock market, tends to fall with the stock market. Not 100% on that all the time, but very often enough for there to be some correlation there. So watch pound yen, a lot of volatility to the upside, and I think we're just gonna have to wait to see, as now we've broken structure to the upside, but we aren't fully in a uptrend. This one is going to be left on the sidelines. We already took a look at gold. You can back up in the stream. We may pull it up here as we get closer to the event. We got 5 minutes until not necessarily a spike. You may see some volatility pick up, but not always a spike, as it takes the markets some time to consider everything that is in, of course, the event. And possibly a good idea, real quick, we'll pull up a let me just go ahead and pull up Forex Factory. We can see, of course, for those of you who are just tuning in, if you're newer to the stream, what we're looking at here today is we're going to be watching the meeting minutes. This is going to be basically some Fed forecasting, some Fed planning that's going to come out in their meeting minutes, which does have the potential to cause some volatility on US dollar crosses, but also on other things, gold, the S&P, the NASDAQ, the Dow, US 30, right? All those things could potentially be majorly impacted by what they have to say, but we don't know what they have to say. So spikes and trying to call which direction things are going to go right now is, in my opinion, more closely related to gambling than anything else. We're going to take in the data together here. We're going to analyze things, and I want to encourage you to stick around and make sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel if you have not already. Real quick, we mentioned the Edge Finder. If you guys want access to the Edge Finder, we do have a free trial available. If you want to pull this thing up, this is a tool that we use on a consistent basis. If you watch the streams every day, you've probably seen it every day. We've been watching just kind of the latest things. Another thing to look at is the Smart Money Tracker. This is going to show us the most heavily bought and sold assets on the list of things based on the COT data. And this is an interesting thing to look at as we go into the event. And one more thing we'll show you in just a second is, of course, the Fed tracker, probably one of the most important things we could look at before a major Fed announcement. Quickly, we've got US oil, gold, euro, silver, dollar, NZD on the most heavily bought assets. And on the flip side, we've got JPY on the sell side, AUD, CHF, CAD, SPX. A lot of those things tend to be lining up properly here today. Grab the Edge Finder, by the way. Again, if you want a free trial of our software tool, this is my company's tool that we put together, and it is available to traders looking to automate a big chunk of their trading with a lot of data available to you each and every day, all automatically pulled in. You just grab it. It's a cloud-based application that you can pull up at any time. Grab access to it here today for free using that link. Fill out the information, and you'll get information on how you can try it out for yourself. Okay, so as we get closer to the event, we've got just 3 minutes here. Let's take a quick look at the Fed tracker here. This is going to be an interesting one to look at as we come into an event like this. Here's where we're at. So inflation forecasts here in the United States, they're forecasted to continue to decline. So the Fed is expecting inflation to curb. They're looking good on that front. But today's meeting is going to have a lot of impact. Are they still on target? That's really the question. Are we still on target to get that inflation down to a healthier level by Q4 2023? And what about interest rates? Are we going to continue to project interest rates of 0.5% in the next reporting and then sort of taper off as expected? Or are we going to see something different? This meeting here today, which we're about to have in 2 minutes, the report is going to come out. And we're going to see if those projections change at all. Again, another feature that's available within the Edge Finder is the Fed Tracker. If you already have it, just go over to Fed Tracker here, right here, and then you can look through all of this stuff and how everything could potentially impact each asset, like the stock market, the dollar, and gold for those of you guys who trade it. So grab access to it. And again, we dropped the link earlier. We'll drop it one more time if you guys don't mind. You can fill that out and get access to the Edge Finder for free to try it out here in the future. So let's take a look again. We'll go back to the chart here as we get very close to the event. Will there be a spike? We'll have to see. I'll pull up, give me 1 second here. I'm going to pull up a couple charts here for you. So as we go into the event, let's get our 15-minute charts going here. We've got gold in the top left. We'll put the S&P 500 in the top right. We'll put euro bottom right, and in the bottom left, let's go with GBP USD, see what's going on with the pound US dollar as we get closer. Now, I mentioned we're going to be able to watch my profit and loss here, so give me a second. I'm going to pop that out so you guys can see it, and you can watch detached position. We're going to put that right here so you guys can see how my S&P 500 trade does on the actual release. Now, of course, we are looking at a 15-minute chart, so we will we'll see. And again, of course, trade carefully. Oh, I just lost it. Let me pull it back up. Don't go away. There it is. Okay, S&P 500 trade. That's the one that I'm in. I'm currently long S&P 500. This is not something I took moments before the event. This is something I've been holding on to for several days now. This is a swing trade, so not going to be YOLOing right before FOMC. Let's see what we get on the initial reaction here as we come in. We get the beating minutes. They'll be hitting the market here shortly. We'll see if it causes a stir right away or if there's anything major to be watched. Okay, not too much of a reaction here. The pound not making too much volatility. The gold market staying flat, and the S&P 500. Now, guys, remember with the meeting minutes, it's basically a document that goes out, and it takes time for markets to sort of react to it, read through it. And so the volatility is not always necessarily a spike as you might get with NFP or some other major news event where you just get a straight up number. But still fun to pull up and take a look at together. What are you guys trading, by the way? I'm looking at the chat. Short ready times 20. Oh my goodness. Be very, very careful. I can't tell you what to trade or what not to trade, but please remember, trading can be incredibly risky if you make it that way. S&P 500 seeing a bit of a bounce here as we get into the thick of it. Pound US dollar making a bit of a move up. Nothing crazy though. No spikes just yet. And again, not the same thing as an NFP event or anything like that, because spikes don't necessarily occur the same way. When you get NFP, it's like jobs numbers. Did they hit? Did they miss? With the meeting minutes, you get projections and ideas, and it's a big document that, you know, people go through and see that. Guys, let me ask you, if you are pulling up news pages, if anybody is watching the news event anywhere or looking for headlines, feel free to share those in the chat. I'd love to pull that up for you. Let me see if I can find anything myself as we speak. Let's see if Forex Factory has anything for us. And I'm just going to go out of full screen here for a second. We'll go back to Forex Factory, forexfactory.com. See if there's any major spikes or major announcements. We'll go here. Okay, so participants welcomed inflation drops in October and November, but concurred it would take substantially more evidence of progress to be confident of a sustained downward path. Fed minutes, participants generally indicated upside risks to inflation remained a key factor in shaping policy outlook. Fed officials cited inflation could be more persistent. A couple of Fed officials saw inflation risks as more balanced. Fed wary of unwarranted easing in financial conditions. So it seems like so far, let's see, I'm looking, making sure I'm not missing anything, but so far seems to be relatively docile. Here's pound USD coming down a little bit, the S&P 500 down just a little bit, euro down as well, and gold sort of staying flat at 1850, sort of that psychological level as we watch the event. We'll see how things progress. But again, remember, the reaction can be delayed. It's not always necessarily just a straight up spike. And of course, let me see if I can just filter this for everything. Sometimes they have a follow-up meeting. It doesn't seem like we have that today here. Remember, guys, we do have NFP, and we will be streaming NFP here on the channel. So make sure, if you are new right now, if this is your first time on the live stream, hit the thumbs up button, subscribe to the YouTube channel, and hit the notification bell so that you can come back and see us, come back and do more chart analysis on news events. I try and do my best to cover as many as I can. So here's your S&P 500. Here's your gold market coming down a little bit, 1848, breaking underneath that 1850 psychological level. We'll pull up a full screen here so we can do a little chart analysis. And again, this is here's your 1 hour chart. Pulling back, I would say from the looks of it, gold continues to look healthy, and pullback plays might actually be reasonable to expect continuation. Of course, this is my take on it. Please don't take my opinion as word. I could be wrong just like everybody else. But hey, gold doesn't look too bad at 1846. Pullback in the volatility might actually offer some nice continuation opportunities on gold. Again, uptrend, pullback to the 50% retracement. You've got nice confluence there with support at the 1845 mark. So I don't hate that one. Gold might actually be looking to set up here. SPX500, of course, the one that I'm most interested in. I am still long on this one. A little bit of volatility on the spike here, but we'll have to watch to see if there's any follow through one direction or the other. I mentioned earlier that for those of you who are watching the indices, we've got resistance up here at 38.90, give or take, on the SPX500. And similar story when we're looking at US 30, we've got resistance up top here around 33,427. And if you take a look at the NAS 100, similar story as well. You've got resistance up there at 11,100. So we'll watch these levels for the indices traders out there outside of just myself. Someone mentioned Euro USD in the chat. Again, holding that 61.8%. That looks healthy for possible downside continuation on that Euro USD. Don't have a ton of bias there from the Edge Finder. If I take any trades, you guys will see them inside of Discord. If you're not already in Discord, by the way, grab access to it. We'll share a link in the chat if that's something you're interested in. You can get access. Let me show you what it looks like. I'm just 1 second here. Grab access to our Discord channel if you're in there. We'll drop a link in the chat right here. Click that link, fill it out. It'll just ask you for proof that you're a real person and not a bot. We've had a bunch of people like spam the Discord and stuff. So please don't do that. But if you want access, fill out that link I just shared. You can see all sorts of stuff. If you're part of the VIP, you can actually see trade signals from myself, Frank, and Ivan, our traders here at A1 Trading. And if you're not, you can still get access to the free stuff that's in there. We have a free daily analysis that's being posted and all sorts of good stuff. So if you're not already in there, grab that link, fill it out, join the Discord for free today. So there you go. Euro dollar continuing to hold 61.8%. That looks healthy. Let's move to the pound USD, one that I'm actually looking pretty bearish on from a fundamental sentiment analysis, but it just doesn't want to play nice with the technicals. I really would have loved pound USD on a retest here, like a break retest. It just did not hold. It rallied from there and even found support. So technicals, not my favorite here on pound USD at the time. If we see a break the other direction, if we start seeing failure, I will probably look to get short, as this one has confluence from the Edge Finder. We go back to the watch list and you can see this one is actually on the sell side, pound USD at a -5 overall. So I do like pound USD as a sell, but only once the technicals start to line up. Euro GBP, one that might be interesting to look at as a possible buy. So Euro GBP here, pulling it up. Pulling back here today, still deeply retracing here, kind of entering into a sideways market. And I actually take it back. This one not trending as well as I would like it to in order to actually pick up trades on the technical side of things. NZDCAD, another one that has a strong bias, but let's see what the chart looks like. Not pretty chart yet. Trend doesn't look very healthy either direction, just chopping back and forth. Let's see. What else do we have? GJ. Yeah, how's GJ doing? GJ, we talked about it briefly, hasn't moved very much in reaction to the news. And we talked about that moments ago. So let's not sit on that one too long. SPX500 recovering a little bit of the volatility there, but still not making much of a follow through either direction. So yeah. What's dollar yen doing? Dollar yen here today, shooting to the upside there on the 5-minute chart and continuing to look healthy on that 1-hour chart as we start to break back the other direction. So check this out. You have this whole downward structure, started to break the other way, went sideways a bit, and boom, there's that breakout. So big breakout there around 131.4, big clean move there. So I mean, from a technical perspective, I do like it long, but not until you get that healthy retracement to like a 50% move, right? So that's a ways away. So I'm not going to sit around and wait on it. I think there might be other opportunities in the meantime. But yeah, why is there no volatility yet? It seems like the actual release was not that exciting. And didn't cause too much move. So FOMC minutes show hawkish Fed pushing back against unwarranted easing in financial conditions. Thank you, Maxime, for sharing that. Let's see, what else do we have? What do you think of Euro USD? I mentioned it earlier. I am relatively short biased on it right now, though it doesn't have a short reading on the Edge Finder, so not going to be one. And I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why the Edge Finder does not give Euro USD a sell bias right now. It's because the COT is not giving us a strong reading one way or the other. So the COT data is actually pretty long the euro, right? So smart money pretty long on Euro USD, euros on the futures market. So that tells me, okay, big money is going long the euro, but big money is also going long on the US dollar. So there's not a clear bias in the COT section, which is holding us back from actually getting a strong enough bias to actually take a trade. This is the difference between traders who, again, they don't trade with edge, they don't trade with confirmations, they just trade what the chart's looking like all the time. And again, some traders are able to do that fine, but many traders benefit from actually looking at the fundamentals, looking at what smart money traders are actually doing, not just guessing from chart patterns, but actually looking at the data that we have, which we get from this factor right here. COT data will allow us to see what smart money is genuinely doing on a week by week scale. And so that's why we have it in the Edge Finder. So COT data is a little bit mixed, and that's why we don't have enough of a bias there on the euro dollar. But we could take a case study of pound USD, and we could take a closer look and say, this actually has some COT data confirmation. We get a -1 in that column or that category, which tells us, well, hey, if we look at COT data here, the pound has a lot of short interest from institutional traders. And then if we flip that around, we take a look at the US dollar. The US dollar has a lot of long interest from institutional traders. So that's telling us, what is it saying? It's saying short the pound, buy the dollar, if you want to mimic what generally their futures positions are looking like. And so that can be a powerful indicator. It's like taking signals from hedge funds, right? It's not always 100% correct, but it, of course, is something to at least consider what they're doing. So if you don't have the Edge Finder, again, you can try it out for free today. We dropped the link earlier, but let's drop it one more time so it's more fresh in the chat. You guys can click this link that's getting dropped right now, fill that form out, and what that's going to do is it's going to take you to a place where you can get a free trial access to the tool if you'd like to try it out on your own time. One of our team members will train you on it if you have interest. We have many, many traders who are using this on a daily basis, myself included, and one of my staff members will actually get you training on this tool to trade with confirmation from the Edge Finder if that is something that you're interested in doing. So yeah. Maximilian says Aussie CAD looking like a retest, but still neutral on the Edge Finder. Let's do a little study on AUDCAD because I am sure that I'm probably going to agree with you if you are an Edge Finder user. So yeah, I mean, clean break, clean retest. Though if the Edge Finder doesn't give it any confirmation, then I'm going to sit on the sidelines with it. And we can see a neutral, so +2. It's not too far off from possibly getting a bullish reading there for you. But again, some of the economic numbers, fundamentals, holding us back from getting a bullish reading here on the Edge Finder. So yeah. Do you stand through your whole stream? Only recently. I've been using my standing desk, and it's good for you. Apparently it's better for blood flow. Not that I'm I'm actually running on a treadmill. What would you guys do if I was just doing this the whole stream? That would actually be exhausting to watch and exhausting to do. So we don't do that. Maybe someday, maybe when I'm in better shape, I'll do that. But but anyways, yeah, so Aussie CAD, I'm totally with you, Maximilian. I like that response. You know, just because the chart looks good, sure, but if the Edge Finder doesn't give us some confirmations, there's not enough oomph, for lack of a better term, for me to actually take that trade and look for something, right? Sell Aussie yen, Edge Finder, good rating at resistance. Good question, Marcus. Thank you for sharing that. And guys who use the Edge Finder, guys and girls who use the Edge Finder, please feel free to always chime in the comment section. If you see something that I'm not seeing, that's what we're here for. We are here to collaborate. And people who use the Edge Finder, we generally tend to be looking at similar charts, similar setups and ideas. So yeah, I mean, Aussie yen, here's your, so this is almost a daily chart setup. So for my swing traders out there, who was that shared that in the chat? Let me not miss it. Marcus, thank you for that. Sell Aussie yen, edge finder, good rating at resistance. So I love the technicals, beautiful technicals. We have a broken level of support here. And as we potentially retest that area, that could offer something there, especially with this recent spike, it may be a bit exhausted. And if it has edge finder confirmation, then I may be with you. So let's go look at AUDJPY. So, okay. Let's see, AUDJPY almost in the sell category, but just not quite. Would like it to poke up just a bit further to the sell side there to give me that confirmation, but we're close, right? So this is the thing is, if you trade using the edge finder as confirmation, if you're one of those people, one of those crazy people who use the edge finder, then oftentimes what you're going to find is you're going to be taking a lot less trades because it waits for a lot of things to line up before it really gives you confirmation. So yeah, next up, we'll take a look at USDJPY, see if there's anything there. -2. So I want a -3 at least here. So we need something to flip a little bit further, but Aussie yen is a close call. So not quite a trade setup I'll be taking here today though. Dollar yen, people asked about dollar yen. Let's see what USDJPY. So dollar yen neutral. And again, a lot of the yen cross is kind of neutral. But one thing I will say that goes for dollar yen, keeping it relatively positive, is look at that dark blue color as we approach +2 in the COT data. This is showing us that smart money is essentially very long the dollar, very short the yen. It's like the synergy between smart money. So, dollar yen, is it a buy? Well, that's not enough by itself. Just because COT data tells us something does not necessarily mean, oh, just go buy it, right? We're still in a downtrend. We're still facing a lot of resistance up ahead. So still in neutral territory. Dollar yen is a sell on the 4-hour daily. So Kyle, thank you very much, by the way, for the donation for the money tree. Yeah, I appreciate that. We get the money tree raining because of your very kind donation to help out the stream. Thank you so much. So dollar yen, you mentioned that from a technical analysis perspective, I would have to agree. Technical analysis wise, this thing looks to be pretty bearish. So I would like to see for my friends who are like, hey, is this a buy on dollar yen? My take would be, maybe, but we need to start seeing some actual higher lows and some breakouts, right? We are sitting at resistance. We're sitting at, like this trend line downside, right? We're in a downtrend off the 4-hour and the daily chart. And really, probably for me to be bullish, I would need to see this stuff happening, right? I'd need to see breakouts. I'd need to see retests. So I'm not necessarily bullish as we get up into resistance points. If anything, I'm just neutral. I have no reason to take this trade as we have a lack of edge finder bias. And so we're just going to hop out of that one. So I hope that makes sense. You guys who watch the streams every day, you know how that works. You know how with the edge finder, we wait for confirmation on the edge finder, then confirmation from the technicals to actually take trades. And, that's how we position ourselves for opportunities. So, we've got euro pound, US 10-year. This is the bond market. I don't often trade the bond market. Real quick, let me just go look at the US 10-year, see if there was any reaction to this stuff here today. Not a whole lot of it. This is just basically the bond market, right? We're looking at, the bond market to see what's going on. Not too much volatility here today. So we'll move on from that one pretty quick. Euro USD, still seeing not a whole bunch of movement. I do love the chart setup on euro dollar. It just doesn't have the edge finder confirmation. So let's stick to stuff that does. So AUD NZD here. Let's go take a quick look at that one, see what's going on with the AUD NZD. So again, this one getting a sell bias, but chart looks really bullish. So I'm not going to be shorting that one. We'll take a look at pound New Zealand, GBP NZD, see what's going on with this one. And this one, choppy as anything, so nothing there for me. We'll go down to GBP USD. So this one actually might. So here's the thing. I mentioned this one earlier. I liked it here for possible sells. I did not catch that trade. I wasn't looking at it, though truthfully, I probably would have tried to short this and I probably would have taken a loss. So I'm going to be completely transparent. I probably would have taken a loss had I taken this trade. Though a second try for pound USD bearishness may be present up here at 1.21. Is the Edge Finder a once-off? Yes, it is. It is a one-time payment. There's no monthly subscriptions. It's just a one-time offer. So yes, if you want access to the Edge Finder, the link is in the description, by the way. But if you would like to try it before you actually purchase it, you can do that. We've set that up, and my team is on it with the links here today. Thank you, guys. Grab that if you're interested in getting the Edge Finder or trying it out. How accurate and useful is that Edge Finder? Kyle, if you're a regular stream viewer, and again, Kyle, thank you for the 2, making the money tree rain again. You're shaking the trees here today. I appreciate you, Kyle. And good question. How useful, how accurate is the Edge Finder? So I genuinely use the Edge Finder in all of my discretionary trading all the time. It is the go-to tool. It is not necessarily, it's not a prediction tool. It's not going to forecast everything that's going to happen in the world. And, you know, many of you guys who watch the streams every day, you know that. You know the markets are not that predictable. They're not easy. This stuff is difficult. But the Edge Finder, for me, is a confirmation tool. It adds Confluence to my technical strategies that I've used for years in the fundamental and sentiment analysis components. And again, what I mean by that is when we look at this, many traders, what they do when they take trades is they just look at charts. And I get it. Charts are awesome. And I use charts, but it's not the only thing that drives prices. Prices are also driven by what smart money is buying and selling, which is the COT data, what the crowd is buying and selling. What is the crowd doing? The crowd that tends to be getting smoked all the time in the markets. What are they doing? What does seasonality have to say? Historically, during the month of January, what does the dollar do? What does the Dow do, right? We can look at that information all pulled in from the Edge Finder automatically. So it's not a magical, you know, crystal ball. It's just a simplification tool for traders who want to use additional levels of confirmation in their trading. They want to add fundamentals. And think about it this way. If the Edge Finder directed you with information and you were able to make better decisions because of it, what is that worth for your trading? Wow, I sound like a salesperson. I'm genuinely do not mean to sound that way. I promise this is a tool I genuinely use every day and love. We've worked so hard to build it. And so I do genuinely believe in it. So, but if you really do think about it, it is a tool that brings a lot of insight to you as a trader. And if that is something that you think would be beneficial to you, I would encourage you to try it out and see if it's something that suits you. Again, we dropped that link several times here in the chat. If you want access to it, to try it out for yourself, then I encourage you to do that. Chat with my team. We've got people who are able to train you on the tool if that's something you're interested in. Again, it's basically like you can get a one-on-one call set up if you're interested in doing that and learning about how the tool could better your trading or help you out. So yeah, click the links in the description if you want access to the Edge Finder yourself. Let me go continue on with this pound USD thought that I had. So pound USD on the sell side, potentially setting up as we near that 1.21 level. We have confirmation from both the Edge Finder and the technical chart looks pretty good. Considering the higher time frames, you know, you look at the daily chart, this thing is trending well to the downside now after we failed out on that up move. So we had a big up move, failed out there, and now seem to be putting in those lower highs, lower lows. So I'd like to potentially try and catch it on a pullback. So my thought process would be possible sell setup on the pound dollar here with stops above the high. I'm not going to take too much risk on that, but looking for continuation moves. So the risk to reward becomes pretty phenomenal there, in my opinion. Rapid, we have several videos on how to use it. In fact, we actually just finished a playlist. James, the nice guy who started out the stream for us, he put together an entire playlist on how to actually use the Edge Finder for people who are interested in that. If you would like to find out more about that, again, you can always contact us on our website. And also, James, he's on the live stream right now. James, if you don't mind dropping a link to that playlist for anybody who would like to look through it, that might be a helpful resource if you just want to watch some videos on it before. So yeah, pound USD, yeah. I do like it on the short side. If it can squeeze up into this 1.21 level, I'll watch out for it. How's my trade doing? Are we surviving? Here's my S&P 500 trade. We're still up $1,300, so we're not completely out of it here today. Let's go back to the chart here for a second. Look at SPX500. Of course, I'm a bit biased. This is the trade that I have on myself. Worst case scenario here for me, for those of you guys who are tagging along with my my SPX500 idea. I went long I'm still long. And my thought process here is that if we break back and we fail out at my entry point or below it, I'm going to go ahead and hop out of this trade. But if this thing is able to sort of get back to the highs of this range and potentially even break out, I'm going to look to aggressively conservatively hold this position. What I mean by that is, okay, I entered back here, stops below. My thought process would be if we can get back to the highs, I'll look to trail stops and lock in some money on this trade. And if we can break through the highs, then I will do so even further. So this is a trade. You can see my profit and loss right there, 1270 right now. SPX500. We'll watch to see if that one can survive. It had a crazy day here. Here's your 15-minute chart. You can see we were all over. We dropped on the open, and we rallied all throughout the day. And now we're dropping back towards the end of the day. Just crazy. Nick, sell me this pen. Do you need a pen? That's the first question, right? If you don't need one, I won't sell it to you. That is the key. That's the difference between somebody who sells stuff shamelessly and like with malicious intent, where they sell you something they don't actually think you need, versus somebody who sells something that they do genuinely believe. Like, the Edge Finder, I do genuinely think that many, many traders are already benefiting from it, and more traders would benefit from using it too. GJ, we've looked at GJ in the past. You can go back in the stream if you want to watch that. Yeah. So there you go. AUDNZD Edge Finder. We already looked at that as well. If you're just tuning into the stream, AUDNZD is overall sell biased on AUDNZD, though I don't like the technical setup. I mentioned this earlier. Even though the sell bias is there, I don't like the sell idea on a technical chart. The 4-hour chart looks very bullish here. So not looking to go against that for now. So there you go, guys. That's going to wrap up the stream. We've got no guests coming on today. It's just me today. You're stuck with me. Well, actually, are we getting rated by official Lens? Is that happening here? Lens, are you among the YouTube viewers today? I think he won't comment the XAUSD. Don't spam. I think I already did gold, but we can look it up again. Gold, 15-minute chart. Did Lens rate us? Any friends from Lens channel? We're Lens and I are pals. Comment if you're tuning in from official Lens's channel. That's cool. 50% retracement. I mean, narrowly got missed here and already bouncing back. For the gold bulls out here, it's been an interesting day. We saw gold retreat quite a bit from the highs, though still in a bullish structure. I would not necessarily be bearish on gold by any means. Gold on the Edge Finder, actually great question. I forgot to pull up gold in the Edge Finder here today. Wow, look at this. We're so close, you guys. I want to be long gold, but I've been waiting for this final tick. Just give me a little bit more confluence, and I'll actually be looking to get long on gold. It's gold on the Edge Finder. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. So gold price currently pulling back, and we did not get too much volatility from today's meeting minutes. Though COT data still looks positive for gold. The retail crowd is super short on gold. Trend reading to the upside. It's the economic numbers that are still holding us back, right? GDP growth has been positive. That's not great for gold. Inflation has been curbing, not great for gold. Markets tend to, inflation is like oftentimes considered, gold is considered a hedge potentially to high inflation and recession periods. Interest rates rising, also going to be a damper on the gold market for now. Though technicals, I have traded gold a couple times just short term off the technical chart. Though again, kind of waiting for that last tick. Why is nobody talking about AUDUSD? We can take a look at Aussie Dollar. Aussie Dollar, wow, what a mixed chart on the Edge Finder here. COT data, this is going to be a really red flag for me. Oh, by the way, check this out, guys. I played around. I forgot that I had done this. For Edgefinder friends, people who use this, I actually changed some stuff around on AUDUSD. And I think it's a lot more readable like this. I made it more like color codes, heat maps, some data visualization tricks. I think that make it look a lot better. What do you guys think? Do you like the visual graph on retail sentiment? So here's let's walk through AUDUSD really quick. COT data. I think this is so much easier. COT data. The Australian dollar is very short by institutional traders. The dollar is very long by institutional traders. That's a bias to short AUDUSD. Retail sentiment. The crowd is very short AUDUSD. That's a reason to long the Aussie dollar. This is why we're getting a neutral reading, right? We don't have a lot of things agreeing right now. Seasonality. The month of January is negative historically over the past 10 years on this pair. Trend reading, we have an uptrend, so that gives us positive. GDP growth, inflation, and interest rates favor the US, while unemployment favors Australia. So we get a neutral reading. There's no bias one way or the other. And again, none of this is, we're not talking about chart patterns or anything, although those things are fine to use. We're looking at fundamentals and sentiment here to get an analysis. Am I a coder? I am by trade, but I also have a developer who works for me to build this tool. And then we have... there's one other guy outside of myself who is also a trader who helps to design the Edge Finder. So USDCAD on the Edge Finder. Let's do it. Let's look at USDCAD. USDCAD, just neutral again. We have so many neutrals right now. I like to go to the watch list. This is where it's going to filter things that actually have bias. The one that's leading my attention right now is pound USD on the sell side. As we mentioned previously, I think that actually is a setup that I'm interested in myself. So we talked about this earlier. If we get a pop to the upside there, pound USD at 1.21. If one day A1 trading is no longer anymore, will Edgefinder users still access for lifetime? Well, first of all, we have no plans to discontinue. We currently have 7 staff members with an 8th one joining us in office, and then other people, of course, remote. So we have a very large team. We do not plan on going anywhere. We've got quite the team here of developers and stuff that make everything possible. So yes, it is a one-time fee if you do decide to get it. Guys, that's going to wrap up the stream for me. I am all out of juice. I'm tired of talking, and I'm sure you're probably tired of hearing from me. So thank you guys for tuning in. If you enjoyed today's stream, hit the thumbs up button, subscribe so you can come back and see us again in the future. And remember, grab all the free stuff that's in the description if you haven't already. We'll see you back next time. See you later.
Thanks again for watching today's show. Our goal at A1 Trading is to continue to share free value to our audience through daily videos and articles, keeping you up to date with the latest market coverage. If you enjoy our content, make sure to subscribe for more. And remember to check the description below if you're looking for a new broker or looking for a trading community to join. From all of us at A1 Trading, have a great day, and we'll see you next time.